So I welded this piece in here, the 3/16 GM high side adapter. I cut it out of another hose. Actually, I had my guy do it, the guy that does the TIG welding, and he had a very hard time. He had to keep TIG welding, keep having leaks on this thing. So I realized that this is just a port. It was like off an 80s rear-wheel drive car. I should have taken it off, a car that had a sensor on it. Just like on the car itself, you see a high side that this is probably where the sensor was on most of the other cars, just not the diesel. And you see how it's rounded there? I don't have another hose to really show you, but the other style of hose basically it flares out, at the bottom here. I probably should have taken pictures before, or the video before, but this was flaring out. So what happened was, when I was screwing in the switch, I was like, damn, I can tell that's not really sealing, because you want it to bottom out completely there, because there is like a little seal at the end of that, and then you put another O-ring right there so it seals on the outside edge. And when I was screwing it on, I could tell it was bottoming out, And now, see, basically where it was bottoming out before was right, there, right where you see it's grinded. See, it was basically ending, when I was screwing it in. Hang on, I'm gonna hold this. It was ending right around there, And now that I've grinded it all the way around, and I had to grind a lot. Now I got it way on, and now, because before, I was like, even when I was like forcing the threads, I was like, it feels like I can keep going, and because like I wasn't grinding it round all the way around, Now I did. I got to make sure it's clear, and that is definitely going to seal now. Just hope I didn't put any pinholes in the weld, because it was very rough for him. He had a very hard time, and he was busy with his shit, not my garbage. So hopefully it doesn't leak, but I put a new valve in. This is the old valve, and I can start bedding the other line, seeing where that's going to fall. I'm probably going to, bend out the bottom of this line in another direction. But I was working on another car today, so I really didn't get to work on this one. Plus, I have that other. I got the lower condenser mounts that are still lost in the mail somewhere. So now it's been officially 12 days that it's been in the mail. And, what am I going to do? Either that, I got to start looking for another set of those from somebody else. So, all right, just wanted to do a quick update on this particular switch on the high side that I believe it operates the fan. Turns on turns on the fan by way of pressure in the system. And that's it. Should work now, so long as it doesn't leak. Thanks. So I had a bit of a problem with this thing sealing. I did an air test on it. First of all, it was hard to change the Schrader valve, and it must have been still hot when I pulled it out when we were, welding it. But apparently, there's this. You see this angle right here on this guy? It holds it just right, and it's the right depth, where this one was probably not, because they weren't thinking about it. And between me grinding it and not grinding it a perfect circle, and I went a little bit overboard because I just wanted to make sure it cleared the nut there. Every time I put an O-ring in, it would roll over, and you can see it's probably partially rolled over there, but the black O-ring, for some reason, from Harbor Freight, tended to not roll over nearly as much. And I air tested it, and it doesn't leak. So apparently, I think the green ones would have worked if I just didn't tighten it so much, but I was trying to physically tighten it because, you want vibration of the diesel engine to shake it loose. So worst case scenario, I got to take this out and take it out of another hose that is meant for this, because apparently this was not, and I just thought they were all the same. You live and learn. That being said, I could simply just use that and extend these wires all the way, these wires all the way over there. I could pick them out of the harness here, but I just put all this shit together, and the wiring harness goes underneath the water pump and everything, so probably not going to do that. But I decided to, what happened was, with this bigger one, I kind of guessed wrong. I did 3.5 inches on this one, and I did 3.5 inches on this one. But as you could tell, the compressor is slightly, you know, this is a little bit angled. So I went further on this one. So then I decided, since I have this new bender, I said I'll go a little bit crazy and I'll go around. So this one is more, and then I said, you know what, hey, then I was like, now it was too far, you know, basically I was interfering with the oil cap. So I'm like, you know what, I'll just go around the oil cap. That way, you know, this thing was so close anyway, it's like I wouldn't even want to check my oil. It'd be a pain in the neck. You couldn't put the thing in. Now, these are not both bent the same way. To me, it's not a big deal. It's not worth like redoing it. You know, I might be able to play with the angles to get it to change a little bit. But for the most part, if you go around this, you know, and pretty much the stock one kind of goes at that angle because then it goes around, but I think it turns even more. So, and it's very easy to bend. I can twist it around a little bit. But, you know, I didn't even have to nearly do this crazy of a bend here, you know. And so, I mean, I could try to fix it a little bit. It's kind of silly to do it now, but basically it's not bad, you know. And a lot of this will bend pretty easily wherever I need it to go. If it's a little tweaked, or I'm gonna have a hard time getting it on this bracket, but I'm pretty much will one way or the other. I just don't know how I'm gonna incorporate the AC hose. You know, it kind of twisted when I was bending it as well, but I can easily twist it back by hand. It's not really a big deal. So I think overall this was successful. I just don't have the other parts now that I need to really get it right. So I'm going to work on trying to mount this, and I'm going to have to put a 90-degree bend on this, but I might just use what I have with my fittings that have a 90-degree bend, because then there's a 90-degree bend coming. That's the bottom guy, and the top guy will come, and it goes, you know, straight on an angle and out. And originally it kind of like swoops up and then connects at like a 45-degree angle, as opposed to a, I'm sorry, this one goes to that one. This one, I'm trying to remember which one bent. I think this one, the bottom one bends away and it goes around, and then this one is straight and it goes 90 degrees down, you know, and this one kind of shoots around it after it's bent. So, but you know, maybe I can improve upon this this bend around the oil thing. And it's probably not worth going crazy. Also got to worry about the motor mount bolt, but I can raise this higher so it clears it. So you can still get a open end wrench, at least on both sides. You know, I guess that's what they were doing when they made it straight. But the straight, I mean, it had to be perfect. Obviously, you know, they can keep doing whatever they do until they get it right. I pretty much count. But I even think that, you know, God forbid, if this, right now you see how it's swiveling here, I could probably crack this loose and it probably won't leak, and I could still, you know, move it around if I'm working on the vehicle and something is, you know, in my way, sort of thing, you know. So I don't think this is going to be too much of an issue at all. I'm actually quite pleased with this. Would I have liked it to be the same bend? Yeah, probably. Kind of guessed. I guessed on the first one, then I had to correct it, and the bender does a good job. You can't even tell I rebent it like 8 times. But it's the first time using this kind of bender. But it's basically a big version of the ones you do your brake lines with. But you have a lot more leeway with brake lines, you know. But yeah, this guy is on top of the screw. This guy, I think, comes on the other side of the screw. So, like, when this straightens out, again, it's rubber, so I can kind of put a different clamp. I can just use the screw for a different clamp, you know, instead of the one that came with it, which, yeah, it's this guy here. And I'm somehow thinking it possibly was both in here, like, well, maybe this was actually the radiator hoses that were in here, but there's a little slot that guy goes on, and then you go around it, you know, and then this one little screw holds it. But I can, you know, there's no rules here. I can pretty much do what I want. So get that guy out of the way, and this guy can be held up there. And like I said, just bending to get away from the heat, maybe, you know, but the top line is actually the hot line, so it's not, I'm not even worried about it going on there. I can also cut the radiator hose, the heater hose here, because it seems way too long. This would swoop out, of course. This is, you know, natural the way it holds, but I can kind of bend it like that, and it would be better if this was kind of shortened. And I think I'll do that, because I'd rather it be away. Of course, the heat goes then next to the fuel pump, which is another thing. But either that, or I just try to put another clamp somewhere for this hose down there somewhere. But I think it would benefit from just shortening it at least, you know, an inch or two, you know. But this thing here is such a pain in the ass because it always springs back when I'm trying to figure something out. Anyway, so this right there, I kind of want to use that, and then this one being underneath it, although it's crisscrossing a little bit, which I can very easily tweak this, and that way they'll be you know just slightly separated. You know, I have this plastic thing that holds two AC lines too, so it'll keep the spacing that I need. Hopefully it's not too wide though. I gotta look at them. Perhaps I can make something, but it's like made out of plastic. I think they make it for also holding heater hoses, so they hold in place. But just something that will eliminate vibrations. And I got one of those rubber mounted, you know, they hook around. I think they're 1/2 inch, so the 1/2 inch one will fit on the 1/2 inch, but this is 5/8. I guess they make it on 5/8. I have to find it, but the 1/2 inch one might just fit too. I don't know. But you know, the exception of not knowing exactly where these go, because I haven't got the bracket for the thing. I know I'm looking in the pictures of other cars, and this new accumulator, solid accumulator line that comes out of the dashboard, this only has one bend, and I've seen some of them bent like an S. And I guess it depends what model you have, and they all show the same part number for this, so it's not really indicative of diesel. You know, if it is, I didn't know, but if that's the case, I gotta wait for the other bracket to come in so that I can mount this properly. I'll know where it is, and that way I know, you know, I don't want to just guess just because the factory did it a certain way. Although I trust the way the factory, you know, did it, I could be a little bit longer, and then, you know, depending where my hoses are and everything, where the angles are, that could be another thing. So, but I think it came out pretty good. Very happy. Just wish I had got my parts in that got lost in the mail now for 12 days. So I don't know when I'll be making the next video. I gotta go to work for the next couple of days. Probably won't be on this car. But because I'm basically waiting for the next step and I can't really do much else. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.